Decisive game, this.
Yes, it certainly is going to be a decisive game. The result's very important for both sides, and you can feel the tension emanating from the supporters as they go past us. It's going to be an intriguing battle between both sides, but I think more so the battle between the two number 10s. Both European footballers of the year. They've got bags of skill. In fact, both sides have got bags of skill. It's going to be a very entertaining afternoon.
OK, well, Baggio and Gullit coming up. First of all, let's get the lowdown on the showdown from Kenneth Warsenholm.
7 days ago, Serie A's leading pack suffered a frustrating afternoon. Leaders Milan were held to a goalless draw at Genoa. Second place Sampdoria suffered a desperately disappointing defeat at struggling Piacenza. And Juventus, lying third, wasted the chance to make up ground, dropping only their second home point of the season against Roma. So despite their dropping a point, the land's lead at the top extended to 3 points, which means Samp and Juve both desperately need to stay in touch this afternoon in Serie A's game of the day. Back in September, Juventus brought an abrupt halt to Sampdoria's 100% start to the season, cruising past the Genoese side by 3-1. Can Samp get their revenge in today's return game? Current form suggests they can. After an indifferent start to the season at the Luigi Ferrari Stadium, including defeats against both Roma and Cagliari, Samp have finally found their home form, winning their last 3 league fixtures in Genoa, including an impressive win last time out against Napoli, a game which saw club captain Roberto Mancini reach a personal landmark.
Gullit. Mancini! Still Mancini! And that, without any question, is the century of goals for Roberto Mancini.
Mancini's century of Serie A goals made him part of an exclusive club which amongst current players has only one other member, Juve's captain and number 10, Roberto Baggio, who hit his 100th against Genoa back in October. The confrontation between the two men, generally accepted as Italy's most talented players, is perhaps the most intriguing aspect of today's game. Mancini, currently acting as Baggio's understudy in the national squad and overshadowed at club level by Ruud Gullit, has been unhappy with his form this season, which perhaps has more to do with the unfamiliar lone striker role he's been asked to play than the ever-loyal Mancini will admit. Today's game provides a perfect opportunity for 29-year-old Mancini to prove a point to himself and to the footballing world by outshining Baggio, the player currently rated the world's best. But it won't be easy. Baggio's form has been the major factor in Juve's successes this season. With 11 goals so far, the 26-year-old superstar is well on the way to his best ever tally in Serie A. Juventus have mounted a convincing title challenge in the face of some crippling injury problems. Most notably, Gianluca Vialli has appeared in only a handful of games. The ex-Sampdoria hero is still at least a month away from first-team football, after breaking his foot in week 2 of the season, then repeating the injury against Tenerife in the UEFA Cup. So his return to Genoa will mean another frustrating afternoon watching from the stands. However, while it may be a frustrating afternoon for Vialli, it should be an exciting one. Sampdoria and Juventus are 2 of Italy's most attack-minded sides, and with 66 goals between them so far, they're Serie A's highest scorers. So join us after the break for a battle royal as Sampdoria play host to Juventus live.
Welcome back to the Luigi Ferrari Stadium in Genoa. We're enjoying a splendid afternoon of sun here, clear blue sky and everything. Hope the weather is as nice with you back in England. As you can see, a nice full stadium as well, and a tremendous atmosphere for this visit, as we say in English, of Juventus to Sampdoria. Banners and flags all over the place. A typical one right behind me. Oi, 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 Luca Vialli. Corner con noi, a sort of rhyme scheme that Haircut 100 made famous, that, but one of many banners here calling for Vialli to leave Juve and come back to Samp. Well, that's a discussion for the future, but at the moment the tension and the atmosphere is all about this afternoon's game. These two clubs, of course, the two real contenders for Milan's title, the two that are left really in Serie, and after disappointing results for both teams last Sunday, and Milan are 3 points clear in Serie, it really is a make or break time for these two this afternoon. That's very much the theme in this morning's papers as well. Gazzetta, Mancini or Baggio, which one of you is going to be the anti-Milan? And Tuttosport as well, announcing that today is not just an ordinary game, it's the semi-final of the Scudetto. Dramatic stuff there, but certainly even though nothing is promised to the winners today, whoever loses is going to suffer a very major dent indeed in their championship chances. Well, I have to say that Baggio or no Baggio, the smart money is on that team being Juventus. How smart is your money though, Malcolm?
Yeah, well, my money's probably maybe not very smart, because I'm putting it on Sampdoria this afternoon, and the reason for that being is the Sampdoria, they play Gullit up front on his own, and I don't know whether there is enough footballing intelligence in the Juve defence to actually cope, not just with Gullit on his own, but the very late support that comes from all over the pitch, and it comes so quickly. It's very difficult to defend against. Firstly from Platt, then from Mancini, then you've got Lombardo, who comes from very late, he's very quick, scores a lot of goals, and the way in which that they do it, the way in which they get that support to Gullit, he becomes a great provider of balls into fast-moving forwards, and it's impossible to defend against.
Well, I know that before you were saying that you felt whoever was going to win today will go on to catch Milan. What makes you so confident with Milan already 3 points clear?
Because I'm seeing things breaking up a little bit in Milan, and I've got a feeling that there's just the start of a little bit of crumbling going on there, and I do feel that both Sampdoria and Juve have yet to show their best, and particularly maybe Sampdoria, they've had to change their style a lot to accommodate Gullit, to get used to it, and now they're starting to really benefit from what he has to offer.
Well, I know you're a major fan of Ravanelli in the Juventus squad, but a player who equally doesn't get as much of the limelight as perhaps he deserves in Samp is Lombardo. He was excellent when we were here 2 weeks ago for them against Napoli.
Well, Lombardo looks even older than Ravanelli with his balding head, but that's very, very misleading. He is one of the quickest players in Italy, knows where the goal is, but he plays from very, very deep. And then he makes such very late, very deep and telling runs, and he makes it into the danger areas, and I'm sure we'll see a goal from him today.
Yeah, well, let's hope we'll see some goals today anyway. Over now to the coziness of the commentary box, where we join Ray Wilkinson, the man who by now must know why they call Ray Butch Peter Brackley.
Thank you, James. Good afternoon, everyone. It's the day's outstanding match in Serie A, that's for sure. The two leading scorers then in Italy's top flight this season, unveiling their respective talents in front of this very enthusiastic crowd in Genoa. And my, how these two teams must have been kicking themselves last week at their failure to capitalise on yet another goal this afternoon for the leaders Milan. Neither side can really afford to slip any further behind today. Indeed, hopefully both points will be the priority. Milan clearly aren't the dynamic force of old, but still have to be caught. And while they continue, as seems to be the case, to pick up at least a point every week, well, it does rather put the onus on the likes of Sampdoria and Juventus to start stringing some winning performances together. Big day, of course, for David Platt. Sensibly, he's playing it down as best he can amidst all the media hype surrounding the game. But make no mistake, he'll be extra keen to impress in this one, and hopefully prove a point or two to Juve's coach Trapattoni, the man, of course, who released him from Turin. The number 9 shirt for Platt, and much relief in the Sampdoria camp that Ruud Gullit, the Dutch star, who's been such a phenomenal success since his move from Milan, has recovered from a damaged ankle. Obvious comparisons to be drawn today, of course, between the two number 10s, the two Robertos, Mancini of Sampdoria, Baggio of Juventus, which I wonder will prove the most inspirational. Roberto takes his place in a Juve side that's been frustratingly erratic away from home. Their prospects hindered today by the absence of their main defender Jurgen Kohler, who's suspended, but enhanced by the return of both Carrera and their attacking fullback Fortunato. Two genuine title contenders taking centre stage. Sven-Goran Eriksson there, the coach of Sampdoria, and Peruzzi, well, he'll be hoping to prove his point too, with Pagliuca of Sampdoria at the other end. Two of the men at the moment very much heading for the World Cup finals, of course, with Italy. Sampdoria in third place against Juventus, who are second. Ray Wilkins, your thoughts on this one?
Yes, good afternoon, Peter. Good afternoon, everybody. I think we're in for a real humdinger this afternoon. We do have two title contenders competing against each other, and I fear slightly for Juventus with the absence of Jurgen Kohler and Julio Cesar. I really don't. I think they look a little bit brittle without those two chaps, and it could be a very interesting afternoon defensively for Juventus. But going forward, as you've already stated, they do have Roberto Baggio, possibly the best footballer in form in the world at this moment in time, and a really great player. And on the other side, we have Roberto Mancini. You quite rightly drew comparisons on the both, Peter, and these two guys really are very entertaining footballers, and it should be a cracking match.
Juventus in the yellow shirts and blue shorts attacking the goal to our right and hoping to tighten up their defence. They have brought back Ben Carrera today, who hasn't been in the side since September because of injury. So they have packed their team with defenders, really. But so dangerous when the likes of Baggio are in possession. No Vialli still up front, Ravanelli wearing the number 9 shirt. Bright sunshine in Genoa, and let's hope the match lives up to the occasion. Here is Ravanelli, on for Fortunato. We'll see him wading forward whenever he can. And that was a smart piece of goalkeeping then by Pagliuca. Fortunato, who didn't play against Roma last week, and they certainly missed him down the flank, Juventus. Laid off then by Mancini. Lombardo, who's been so influential in recent matches for Sampdoria, and he's scored 3 times in the last 4 league games, 1 in the cup as well. Hoping to force his way back into the international side, into Italy's World Cup squad. Too long for Gullit. Goal kick to Juventus, who had just a 1 win away from home, that at Udinese, which isn't really championship form by any means. But of course they've been so strong in their own fortress that they've made up for that, really, and are up on the heels of Milan, 3 points behind them at the top, ahead of Sampdoria just on goal difference. Ligno with a throw, linking with Conte. Here's Baggio. Moller. Released by Manini, and this is Evari. Jugovic. Gullit, excellent pass. Now Serena. Still keeping out Marco Rossi, Serena. Rossi, who's been out through injury, but it's on the bench today, although he had a setback again in the week with another knock. Jugovic on for Gullit. He's taken on a new lease of life with Sampdoria. At 31, no way is this man finished. Gullit's cross was a dangerous one too. Lombardo at the far post.
Yeah, he really does seem to have had a new lease of life, Ruud Gullit, Peter, doesn't he, since he's come to Sampdoria. David Platt arriving late in the box there, but Ruud Gullit at 31 really is still a world-class performer, and I'm sure he's been a major influence on this Sampdoria side this season. It is interesting to note that these two teams continually keep shooting themselves in the foot when they get the chance to catch Milan up. They keep having bad results on top of bad results, and really they've got to show a much higher level of consistency if they're going to travel Milan.
That's Torricelli checking the run of Lombardo. Torricelli, who's been with the Italian squad in the week. He was called up by Arrigo Sacchi for the latest get-together. After some excellent displays for Juventus this season, Torricelli, the man who wasn't really expected to hold down his place with all the new arrivals, but he's done so in style. Bjerkevon powering forward. Shot from Gullit. Certainly Sampdoria laying out their intentions. We shall attack Juventus at every opportunity, they say. And Peruzzi may be in for a busy afternoon. Now, another big game today. Parma at home to Lazio, and Parma have taken an early lead through Di Chiara, who's been on the bench, I think, for the last couple of matches, but he's back with the vengeance today and has given Parma the lead against Paul Gascoigne's team, Lazio. Livio, one of Juventus' successes against Roma last week, although they were held to a goalless draw. He's settling well down this right side for Juventus. Conte of Juventus, who'd been doubtful right up until this morning, really, because of an injury. Also picked up from that Italian get-together. Pagliuca, Italy's #1. Wasn't the best of clearances, though. Nannini crashing into Moller. Moller again, down goes Ravanelli. It's a pretty frantic start, Ray.
It is frantic start, Peter, and it's just what you expect, really, for two teams that are in second and third place. And I think Pagliuca can count himself quite fortunate that it wasn't Baggio that was on the receiving end of that, because he'd have stuck it straight back in the goal. He was at a very wide angle. And Andreas Muller, I was very surprised that he didn't have a crack at goal there. That fell very nicely on the volley. And I thought Muller may well have had a shot at goal. I'm sure if that would have landed at Roberto Baggio's feet. But there we see the foul once more. A definite foul, obviously. But if that would have fell to Baggio, I'm quite sure he'd have volleyed that back in.
Pagliuca with plenty of organising to do with those defensive ranks ahead of him. Baggio hovering over the ball. Fortunato is there too. He's got a pretty lethal shot. With Conte, and it's laid off short. And the referee will want the kick to be taken again. A little bit of confusion here. Referee Piero Ceccarini from Livorno in Tuscany. The man who's told off because he doesn't smile enough.
I don't think you'll see him smiling too much this afternoon. This is a really big game, and it's quite right that he stamps his authority on it straight away, because if he doesn't, it will get out of hand. And we've got two really great sides playing here, and we'd hate to see it ruined by a small incident such as this.
Parini is the player who's placed himself in the wall from Juve, along with Fortunato. There's Moller, and how quickly he was closed down then by Lombardo, and the counter-attack is on. Lombardo streaking clear, appealing for the foul, and the referee has given the kick. I wouldn't have thought Lombardo was the requisite distance away for the free kick anyway at the other end. Did you think so, Ray?
Well, I thought when the touch was played, that Juventus were a little bit slack in the way they dealt with it, in actual fact. Peter, Lombardo was onto it like a shot. I was a little bit disappointed that he didn't actually go at the defender with a little bit more conviction, because I'm quite sure he would have got a shot in on goal. But this is well within the distance for Ruud Gullit, Ivani, Mancini. They've got so many guys that are specialists from this sort of distance that it's a dangerous situation for Juventus.
The attention switching then from one end to the other. There's Ruud Gullit. 11 goals in Serie A so far this season, his best ever tally in Italy's top flight. Not much to be said about that, though.
No, that would have gone down better at Cardiff Arms Park, I think, Peter, that one. But he's just warming himself up, the big chap. He's been pretty happy with himself this season, and he's been a delight to actually see him play.
Never really looks too ruffled by all that's going on around him, Ruud Gullit. David Platt was asked to describe him this week, and he said, well, he's worldly. And certainly David has found an inspiration to play alongside Gullit. Notari with the clearance. Ravanelli working so hard as ever. Ivani, Mancini. Ravanelli to Baggio. That's Viercovot snapping back at his heels. Still Baggio. Ravanelli, great turn away from Manini. Now a chance for Moller. Oh, and he set it up for himself delightfully then. Pagliuca furious with the marking ahead of him, but what a run then by Andreas Moller.
Wasn't it? Absolutely fantastic football. A superb piece of football from Roberto Baggio to start it off. A great ball through to Ravanelli, and that run from Andreas Moller. He should really have hit the target, but he did exceptionally well to get into that position, and that was really great football. I think the game started off fantastically well, Peter. I think we're in for a good afternoon.
Moller will take the corner. He's been having injury problems lately, a calf injury that he's had, but he seemed to run it off last week okay. Out by Gullit. Juventus couldn't make it. Delivio. Moller again. Now Fortunato. Came back on Platt. Manini was rather casual then. 10 fairly hectic minutes into the game, no score.
Yeah, just looking back at that corner kick, I'd have been very disappointed if I'd have been Andreas Moller. I think that was a fantastic cross he hit in from the corner kick, and someone really should have been getting in on the end of that. It was Gullit that cleared it, but it fell invitingly on the 6-yard box in the middle of goals, and I think he could have expected one of his teammates to get in on the end of that.
Good to see, Ray, that Juventus are showing plenty of attacking ambition early on.
I think they always will do with their manager, Peter. I think Trapattoni's a fantastic coach. And you can see the way Juventus have started off in a really aggressive fashion. But that just portrays, I think, Trapattoni.
Ivani on for Lombardo. And the flag was up for offside.
We're seeing some cracking football, aren't we? We're seeing some great passing movements, some great running off the ball. And defensively, both sides have got to be very, very alert and concentrate, because attacking these two sides are quite exceptional.
Conte. Trying to slip it on to Moller. He was lucky to find him. Given away that by Moller. Rare mistake by him. Player who's been an absolute revelation, really, Moller. And it was he who kept David Platt out of the Juventus side for much of last season. David Platt, who felt he had something of a straitjacket role, really, with Juve, but is much freer now for Sampdoria. And here he is trying to release Gullit, but failing to do so.
I think David Platt was very unfortunate to find himself in the same setup as the likes of Moller, Cesar and Jurgen Kohler, and David, being the fourth foreign player, wasn't really going to play when those three guys were fit, and it was a bit of a frustrating situation for him.
And you mentioned how much they'll miss Kohler today. Also, Julio Cesar, the Brazilian, who's a long-term casualty. So they've got two key defenders missing. They've had Carrera out as well, so they've certainly had some switching to do at the back and some readjusting Juventus. And generally, they've coped fairly well. And of course, Torricelli has done exceptionally well. And also young Notari, when he's come into the side. Ivani. Hounded by Ravanelli, who fouled him. I can't believe he's only 25.
He's like George Pepper, isn't he? I can't believe he's 25, but it's unbelievable.
Ivani looking for Gullit. Now Lombardo. Torricelli got a foot in. Sprinting away now. And how quickly Juve are bursting into attack. Now, what support does he have? Baggio. The World and European Footballer of the Year. This is Delivio. Now Conte chasing. It's a Juventus throw. It was only the second time they'd failed to score in a Serie A match this season. The goalless affair with Roma last week. I think Sampdoria have scored in all but two as well.
Looks as if he's got designer socks on there, doesn't it, Jugovic? He's got rips in both legs, in the calves. It's unreal the way that his stockings have gone there.
In time, there's a problem for Torricelli.
Let's hope it's not too big a problem, Peter, because he's looked very impressive in the opening spell, getting forward on that left-hand side. Nice left foot, always looking forward to getting support of his forward players. It's interesting to note that Mancini has actually started up alongside Gullit this afternoon, and not in that withdrawn role that I personally like to see him play, but not only can he score from that sort of position, he's also a fantastic creator of goals from that position. I wonder if he'll drop deeper later on.
Baggio, as ever, organising the set piece along with Delivio. Here's Baggio cutting it over. Dealt with though by Vierkavon and Jugovic. Now Mancini. Oh, he's caught by Baggio. No.
That's one of those incidences, Peter, where Baggio has gone in with a straight foot to win the ball. In actual fact, that would be allowed in our football. And quite honestly, I can't really see where that is a foul in actual fact. Mancini's dallying on the ball. Baggio goes in, takes it off him, and he would have been clean through, and no doubt he would have made Sampdoria pay for that. But the referee judged it a foul, and away we go.
The foot didn't seem to be all that high to me.
I think Mancini got away with murder.
And it could have been very, very costly with Baggio left with a clear sight of goal. Now, Platt is down injured.
I suppose in many ways it's not a bad rule in actual fact, Peter. The fact that it encourages skillful players. They know they're not going to be done over the top. They know as soon as the foot is raised that it will be a free kick, and therefore they're more prepared to get their foot on the ball and play with the ball. There is a tendency in our football, and I think in British football in general, because the game is so aggressive, that players won't hold on to the ball because they know sooner or later they're going to be made contact with.
Well, here's the incident involving David Platt. Seems to be okay now. Back on his feet, hobbling just a little though. Out of your picture. Now, Malcolm McDonald, your early views on what you've seen so far.
Well, it's certainly been a very lively start from both sides, but Juventus are playing a very interesting tactical game. When Sampdoria have possession, they've gone very much for a man-for-man marking position, and Torricelli is on Lombardo. Fortunato, the left-back, is actually playing in the centre of midfield, looking for David Platt's runs. But I don't know whether Torricelli has actually got the pace to cope with Lombardo, and I think that there might be a lot of danger coming from this situation on the right-hand side of Sampdoria.
OK, Malcolm, we'll look out for that. This is Ivani now floating it over, and Mancini ruled offside. Mancini, who chalked up then his century of goals in Serie A when we featured their 4-1 success over Napoli recently. Only Roberto Baggio, currently playing in the top flight, has scored more. 103 from Baggio. This is young Notari playing his first away game for Juventus, so it's a real examination of his qualities this afternoon. Just 21 years old, Notari. Pursued by Baggio. Wasn't the best of clearances, he's only found Delivio. Didn't have the pace though to get away from Jugovic, but he was checked anyway. And the referee has awarded a free kick. I think the referee's going to have his work cut out this afternoon. Keeping this game in control. A lot of niggling fouls early on. Now Baggio with the free kick. Ravanelli not there because Gullit was underneath it, and the whistle's gone anyway in favour of Sampdoria. Pagliuca, who's kept just 2 clean sheets so far this season. But is certainly regarded as the top man in Italy, with Peruzzi not far behind, along with Marcagiani of Lazio. Lombardo taking the free kick for Sampdoria, up towards Gullit. Jugovic it was who went in then, now Gullit. Forced wide by Notari. And then Carrera helping out. Torricelli. Moller. Good tackle though by Sacchetti. And the referee thought otherwise.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, Peter. The referee, I know he has to keep a certain hold on the game, but that was a really excellent tackle, and the game should have been allowed to flow.
Fortunato, one of the outstanding young talents in Italian football. Fortunato, very highly thought of, and hopes to be on the plane to America for the World Cup finals. Baggio. Here's Carrera. Baggio, exquisite skill, and almost sending Conte through. Good work then by Jugovic to win it back for Sampdoria. Gullit again has drifted out wide. Ivani on for Mancini. Lombardo. Cut out by Torricelli. Here's the counter-attack now. Ravanelli for Baggio. Sampdoria having to backpedal. Oh, a dreadful pass by Baggio of all people.
Yeah, I think you can see his reaction as well, Peter. That was such an easy pass for the likes of Roberto Baggio, and he'll be disgusted that he didn't put the Ravanelli clear on goal.
Down goes Gullit. No question, though, of a penalty.
Mancini looks very out of sorts, I think, Peter. He looks... it's a bit of a lacklustre performance from him this afternoon up to now. He's... every time he receives the ball, he's stopping it. Normally he's on the move with the ball and creating things, and there he is in the picture there. He really doesn't look himself this afternoon. Whether it's all got on top of him, the Baggio-Mancini confrontation, I don't know, but he certainly doesn't look like the player we've seen in weeks gone by.
Now, David Platt had just got off the field for some urgent attention. He got a knock a couple of minutes ago, and about to reappear now. They can get the referee's attention. Lombardo. Almost at the halfway point of the first half. No goals, but a pretty lively affair so far. Moller. Perini. Now Conte. Here's Fortunato. Hopeful pass forward, and Madini shepherding it back to Pagliuca. Conte down for Delivio. Vani. Of the bounce, still Serena. Now will it fall for Gullit? Serena again. Gullit, a theatrical dive. Well, I can't believe he's claiming a penalty for that.
I don't know, Peter. I think Gullit deliberately touched it through the defender's legs, and I think he definitely made contact with him. I think the thing that went against Rude was the fact that he made such an enormous jump up in the air. I think had he had made it look slightly more realistic, I think he'd have got that.
Maybe we'll see that again in a moment on the replay. I think you've been away on too many light entertainment programmes.
I think I am, mate.
Mr. Blobby, wasn't it? Dearly me. Good to see you managed to fit in a game of football yesterday anyway. Well
yes,
done.
That's right. It's nice to be back on a football field.
Torricelli. No doubt we'll be on at half-time at one of the commercials, though. Meanwhile, Cremonese have taken the lead. Oh, no, they're a goal down at home to Inter. Wim Jonk, the Dutchman, has scored. Vital that Inter pick up a couple of points today if they're to stay with the leaders. Milan incidentally at home to Piacenza, the side that knocked them out of the Italian Cup, and also held them to a draw in the league earlier in the season. No goals so far. Milan at home to Piacenza. Here's Gullit. Now Ivani. Serena. Ivani's cross. It's a tame one though. Off goes Moller. He must be one of the quickest players in world football. Lightning pace. declined by Baggio.
It was a great header from Baggio, and Ravanelli wasn't actually reading the header. He hadn't anticipated that Baggio would win it. A good ball from Moller to the back post, and Baggio rose very, very early. I think Ravanelli should have attempted to get across the goalkeeper there.
Flick on by Gullit, and Notari getting it back to Peruzzi. Now Delivio. Neither side asserting any real authority on the game so far. Plenty of thoughtful and intelligent football. But so far, both defences standing firm. Here's Manini.
Yes, we haven't really seen too much goalmouth action at all, have we, Peter? It's been a lot of midfield play and some good play at times, but it's all a bit frantic.
Lombardo. Now Gullit. No telepathy there. Juventus, of course, also still without Dino Baggio, the Italian midfielder. He's on his way back from injury. So it certainly isn't their full-strength side by any means. Here's Conte with Notari. Conte again. Covers so much ground for Juventus. And a careless pass. Lombardo. Sacchetti had continued his run forward, as he often likes to do for Sampdoria. But now it's Baggio. He's overhit the pass in search of Moller. Two players who've notched up 19 league goals between them, Baggio and Moller, in this campaign. Here's Gullit. Down goes Mancini, and he has been penalised. I think. Well, maybe not. Oh, I can't believe he's given the penalty there.
My goodness, I can't believe that either, Peter. There was the one with Gullit before, which he may have thought that he made a mistake on, but I can't really see how he can possibly give a penalty kick for that. We didn't actually see what actually happened as the ball was coming in, but all we saw was Mancini on the floor.
Well, that's astonishing, but I think he has given the penalty kick.
From our pure point of view, it's fantastic because the game will open up, but really for a game of such importance to be decided on something such as that, then that's a little bit of a poor show.
Well, it seems such an innocuous challenge. Maybe the replay will show otherwise. Now Lombardo, who scored last week in the defeat at Piacenza, but that was after David Platt had left the field. Platt, who missed one in the game against Napoli that we covered. Lombardo lining up the kick. And Lombardo scores. A controversial penalty, to say the least, but he won't be worrying about that. His 6th goal of the season. And 4 now in 5 matches for the man in form. Pietro Adelio Lombardo.
Yeah, it's a very firm wrap, isn't it? He sticks it to Peruzzi's left-hand side and just drills it along the floor. And in natural fact, goes under the body of Peruzzi. So a little bit of fortune as well. They're all the way along for Sampdoria, I think.
As Peruzzi got down, but unable to smother the shot. So Sampdoria take the lead. Baggio. Delivio. On from Moller. Delivio. Varney to hook it clear. Up in search of Gullit.
Having a great game, the big chap up front, Gullit. He's really is a dynamic character. He gets that body in between the opponent and the ball, and he's very, very hard to shake off. And because he has the ability to hold it up so well, it enables his midfield players and the likes of Mancini to get up and support.
Platt. Now Lombardo. The call was from Jugovic. And Pagliuca. Very close then to his first goal of the campaign.
Yeah, what Viekerod's doing, Peter, he's actually coming in to try and pick Baggio up man for man, and consequently, when Baggio drops deep, he finds himself in forward areas, and he's a very, very quick player. And as we saw there, he's not got the greatest feet in the world, but he was able with his pace to get onto the end of a very nice little touch from Gullit.
Certainly a good chance then for Viekerodt. Fortunato now. Ball in. Conte. Good strike. And Pagliuca, though, right behind it. As Juventus look to come snapping back at Sampdoria after the setback of conceding the penalty. David Platt still seems to be struggling.
Yes, we really haven't seen David at all, have we, this afternoon? We saw him get in the box for one header, but apart from that, we really haven't seen him involved in the match.
Losing out to Viekerodt, but he was fouled in the process. Fortunato taking the kick quickly. Conte now sliding along to Ravanelli. Good anticipation though by Manini, who has a more central marking role in the Sampdoria side these days, with Rossi missing, and he certainly slotted in well to his new role. Sacchetti. Tremendous pace. Oh. And Peruzzi almost lost it. It just squirmed away from him. And there was no one following up. And just as well for Juventus that nobody was.
Marvellous football, that, Peter. Great running off the ball from Gullit. What a target for players to hit. They see that man galloping away. And you can miss-hit the pass for 20 yards and the chap will still get it. Absolutely phenomenal athlete. Terrific stuff.
Fortunato battling well. Ravanelli on to Baggio. Now Conte. Moller trying to turn, and he was impeded. Now this is definitely within the range of Baggio. Just while he's organising things here, news of another goal for Inter, and again from Wim Jonk. So they now lead Cremonese 2-0 away from home. Cremonese 0, Inter 2, both goals from Wim Jonk.
That's nice to see Wim Jonk get on the score sheet as well. He scored last week, another 2 this week. He was taken under a bit of criticism, Wim Jonk, and he's really come good for Inter, and I'm delighted to hear that as well.
Now Ravanelli is also around this free kick. Baggio will be the main man. He'll want to instigate things here. Fortunato there too. Some jostling going on in the wall, but here's Baggio! Oh, fantastic strike! Oh. Well, it leaves you breathless, doesn't it?
That's absolutely fantastic, Peter. He practiced week in, week out of doing that sort of stuff, and really absolutely fantastic free kick.
Conte. Juventus again going for the juggler here. Still Conte. Ravanelli having to chase back now. Notari.
Look at that. What the power that he puts into it. Absolutely fantastic technique.
Here's Baggio. So close to an equaliser for Juventus. Delimio. Moller. Now Fortunato. Ravanelli twisting and turning, still Ravanelli. Distraught dive to the ground, which wouldn't convince any referee. But Gullit has. Guerrero with the tackle, which was a pretty fearsome one. Right through the back then of Gullit.
Yeah, it's not a very pleasant tackle, but Gullit making himself available again. I don't think he wanted to be upstaged this afternoon by the 2 number 10s, and really has come into his own. But it's nice to see Baggio. Baggio really is attempting to get involved in everything that Juventus do, and he's starting to look quite impressive.
Gullit. Movement ahead of him from Lombardo, who found the space for himself. And what a vital challenge that was on Lombardo, who was, well, very frustrated he didn't score, but all credit to the defender.
Yeah, the ball
Platt, I think, coming off.
Yeah, sorry, Peter. The ball never seemed to come down for him, did it? It was a dinky little pass from Gullit, and I'm sure if Lombardo would have been able to get his head to it and really whack it into the corner, he may well have been more advised to do that. David Platt leaving the field there.
Well, that's a sad sight. David, who was so hoping to do well against the club that discarded him last season. He was saying, well, I'm playing for Sampdoria, not against Juventus. That was his way of playing things down, really, but... Well, now, sadly, taking no further part in this game because of that earlier injury. And Salsano, who's the perennial substitute, really, for Sampdoria, comes on yet again.
David's quite right to take that attitude as well, Peter, because in Italy, the media attention is so great that they really do try to blow these things out of proportion. And I think David's response was quite superb.
Gullit. It was a great little pass from Gullit that set up Lombardo a minute or so ago. Terrific awareness, too, shown by Lombardo. Salsano. He's a nifty little player, maybe a little on the lightweight side. That was careless by him. Jugovic. Hasn't been quite as effective this season as the last Jugovic, but he's nonetheless being preferred in the side these days to Cantonets.
I think the second year is always the hardest year, Peter. The first year you just come on the scene and no one knows what you can do. The second year, people are really looking for you. They know you've got ability. They know you can score goals from the middle of the park, and therefore they're not going to give you that time and space to do so. And I think that's where Jugovic has struggled slightly.
And he has had a slightly less positive role in the Sampdoria team with David Platt having arrived. Maybe that might change now, with Platt having gone off. Very hard to contain. He's such a forceful, belligerent player. Conte. Less than 10 minutes of the first half to go. Sampdoria leading by a goal to nil. A penalty from Lombardo, the man on the ball now. Conte. Manini slip. Moller. Ravanelli going in. And it was Riecavon there to the rescue for Sampdoria. As Ravanelli again came marauding up front.
It's a tremendous tackle from Riecavon. I think he's 33 now, Peter Riecavon, and he still has such tremendous pace. He doesn't appear to have lost any of it.
34 actually, so even older.
Very, very quick indeed.
Quite as old as the chap next to me, or of Malcolm McDonald. Malcolm, what do you make of it now?
At the moment, Juventus have got much the better of the game, simply because the three front guys, Ravanelli, Baggio and Moller, are interchanging so well. It's causing Sampdoria a lot of problems.
Well, with the corner. Gullit. And somehow they've scrambled it away, but only as far as Fortunato. Juventus still very much in this game, no question about that. Ravanelli, now Baggio, tangling with Sacchetti. And the referee had a good, long, hard look and turned away.
Yeah, Sacchetti was very, very hesitant, and Baggio doesn't need asking twice, and he was onto it like a flash, and it was a little bit unfortunate. Well, when we see the penalty that actually Sampdoria actually got, you could say that Juventus had a bit of a claim there.
Ravanelli, but he was fouling for Riecavon. And at the centre of two contentious decisions, giving the penalty to Sampdoria, but denying Baggio one at the other end. Sacchetti rather lucky to get away with it. It's Fortunato, in goes Lombardo bravely. Gullit. Now Ivani toiling away in midfield for Sampdoria, but here's Delivio. Now Perini. Fortunato in this more central role today. Lombardo. Now, does he have the pace here to scamper past Torricelli, who's fighting to get back at him? Salsano with Gullit. Salsano again. Gullit's gone into the middle. And Gullit couldn't direct his header onto goal. Drilled back in again by Mancini. The presence of Gullit in the 18-yard box there clearly unsettled Juventus. Ivani. And his distribution was poor for once. Torricelli, well, 5 minutes in the first half to go.
Sorry, Peter, I couldn't agree more with you what you said there. When Gullit gets into that penalty box, his presence is quite forceful. But the problem with him, when he plays up front on his own, he finds himself doing a lot of runs out wide. Consequently, he's not actually in the box to receive anything that comes in. And we saw him a couple of weeks ago. He spent a lot of the time outside the box, and really, we want to see Gullit in there on the end of things when coming in. It's a great little ball in from Salsano, which got a deflection, and Gullit was a little bit unfortunate that he couldn't get his head to it.
Yellow card for Sacchetti for a rash challenge on Moller, who was simply too quick for him. Baggio. Fortunato's gone forward. This is Parini. Moller with Delivio in support. Pagliuca able to clear for Sampdoria, not very effectively. Conte, Parini, now then to Delivio. Juventus enjoying plenty of possession in the first half. Still trailing to Lombardo's penalty. Notari. Up for Ravanelli, now Baggio! He'll be disappointed with that one.
Yeah, that was made for him, wasn't it? So it was a super little header. A super little header down from Ravanelli, and set up very nicely for Baggio on the volley. And we've seen him score loads of goals from that sort of distance. I would have thought Trapattoni would be too despondent. There we see it, sitting up nicely, and Baggio just unfortunately couldn't keep it down. But going back, I wouldn't have thought Trapattoni would be too despondent. Juventus have had a large percent of the game. OK, they haven't created that many chances, but they're still well in with it in the competition, and I think we're in for a cracking second half.
As we've seen in previous games, Sampdoria not looking all that solid at the back, despite the presence of Bierkabon. Now, Conte, Moller taking over. Roll on from Delivio, Conte. This is Fortunato. Baggio. Surrounded by blue shirts. Salsano, all very tight in there. Ivani. Conte's perseverance wins it back again then for Juventus. Drifting away from Mancini. Delivio. Now Ravanelli. Baggio with 18 goals in all competitions this season, including cup games and internationals. So he's continued his rich vein of form in front of goal. Deservedly named the new European Footballer of the Year. And his latest accolade, the Football Italia Footballer of the Year from Channel 4 as well.
Quite right too, Peter. He really has entertained us no end this season. A really talented player.
I think your vote for Roger Mendy of Pescara fell on deaf ears.
We mustn't talk about Pescara.
No offence to Roger Mendy. Here's Ivani. Still seeking his first goal for Sampdoria, but nonetheless he's been a big success since his move from Milan. He's actually on loan from the champions.
It's not bad when you can get a player of Ivani's class on loan, is it? He really is a class act, Ivani, and been around a long time, and his experience will be invaluable to Sampdoria.
16 years with Milan. Ivani. I think that his prospects for the World Cup squad will be enhanced by a move to Sampdoria and regular first-team football. Quite a battle they're having, Bierkabon and Baggio.
Tremendous concentration shown by Vieca, with Baggio really using the ball and moving the ball nicely.
Ravanelli again knocking it down. Now Conte with a shooting chance. Back off Bonini, Delivio. Well, the opportunities are beginning to come the way now of Juventus.
Yeah, it was a dreadful clearance from Baggio, but it got stuck in the mud and he couldn't get it away, and there was a couple of shots deflected, and there we see Delivio blasting it across goal. A little bit disappointed with himself that he didn't get it on target. Very nice to see Gazza's programme yesterday morning, the interview with Roberto Baggio. Not only is he an absolute class act and a fantastic footballer, but didn't he come across as a very, very nice chap? And it was nice to see that in such a world-class act.
We're into injury time at the end of the first half. I was hearing that Inter have scored yet again away to Cremonese. One of the Paganins has scored, not sure which one. Antonio. Juventus free kick. Ravanelli. No, Sacchetti got it away. Carrera. The Fortunato. Whistles from the Sampdoria fans. The one they want is the half-time whistle. The team are just hanging on a little now. Delivio. Baggio. Botticelli. It fell kindly for him. Well charged out though by Bjerkevold. So quick to spot the danger. Here's Bjerkevold again. Delivio with the throw, the last few seconds of the half. Ravanelli, Moller. And it was Bjerkevold with a saving tackle. But now Fortunato, still the pressure on the Sampdoria goal. Ravanelli. Really concerted effort this by Juventus, so that one could have killed it. Salsano. Now Mancini. Salsano. Here's Ivani. Jugovic looking for the run of Mancini. Carrera just enough to deflect the ball away.
He did exceptionally well, Carrera. That really was a great pass from Jugovic, and good run from Mancini. Mancini really has been quite anonymous in the first half. A player of his talent, there should be a bit more like Baggio, I think, to play with the sort of enthusiasm that he does. He wants to get involved all the time, but he's been. We've only seen him in very short periods today.
Ivani with the corner, deep into injury time. Jugovic. That's another corner, is it? No, goal kick. Debatable. In fairness, no real complaints from Jugovic. Sampdoria will be happy enough just to be ahead at half-time. As indeed they are, as the half-time whistle is blown by referee Ceccarini, the man who gave the penalty from which Lombardo steered Sampdoria ahead. David Platt taking no further part in the game. Trapattoni, well, he'll have plenty to say at half-time, but maybe, well, I'm sure he will feel his team are very much in contention for picking up at least a point today.
To the Luigi Ferrari Stadium in Genoa, where the half-time score in our game is, of course, Sampdoria 1, Juventus 0. While the teams are off having their respective chats in the dressing room, let's take a quick look through the half-time scores in this week 20 of the 93-94 season, and they are as follows. Cremonese are trailing 3-0 against Inter. Wim Jonk getting the first 2 goals for Inter. Antonio Panginin with the third. His first goal, apparently, in 7 years in Serie. And all respect to our stats department for coming out with that one. Foggia 1-0 up over Lecce. Massimiliano Cappellini knocking home the rebound on a missed penalty. Milan Piacenza 0-0. They're heading for their 4th 0-0 in a row. Milan. Parma 1-0 up over Lazio. Di Chiara the scorer for Parma. Apparently Boksic isn't playing after an injury in training for Lazio. Reggiana 2-0 up over Atalanta. De Agostini and Di Paola getting their goals there. And Roma trailing by 2 goals to Udinese. A very poor result score this so far for Roma. Pizzi and Branca. The scorers for Udinese. Branca's 10th of the season, that incidentally. Sampdoria 1-0 up, Lombardo with the penalty, as we've seen. And Torino and Napoli 0-0 the score so far. Cagliari Genoa will be playing tonight in Sardinia, of course, to make up the full list of these Week 20 games. In a couple of minutes, we'll be hearing Malcolm McDonald's reaction to the first half here between Samp and Juve. But time now, as ever, to take a look back at the best of last Sunday's action with our golden goals.
Yes, your chance to look at some great goals. All contenders for January's Goal of the Month competition. Paul Gascoigne will choose his top selection from these and others screened over the next few weeks. If you eventually agree with his #1 choice, you could win an Alitalia Italia Tour trip to see Lazio play Milan in Rome next month. Of the next few weeks will make up our January Goal of the Month finalists. No cards yet, please.
Welcome back to our live match on Channel 4 from Serie. Right on cue, the second half about to start. Sampdoria in the Luigi Ferrara Stadium in Genoa, leading Juventus by a goal to nil. The goal on 28 minutes from Attilio Lombardo, a penalty, a controversial one at that. And we've had a look at the replay at half-time, and it really is difficult to see why the referee gave the penalty. But he was right in line, just a few yards away, and he had no hesitation in pointing to the spot as Mancini went down. Gullit. Wide to Mancini, the captain of Sampdoria. Serena. Ivani with the attempted cross in. And for those of us joining late, David Platt had to go off during that first half because of injury and has been replaced by Salcedo. Really disappointing afternoon for David Platt, who was so looking forward to this game. And we'll just hope the injury isn't too serious. Ray Wilkins, what do you think Trapattoni, the coach of Juventus, would have had to say at half-time? He was marching off in pretty determined mood.
Yes, he was, and I think that's the way we'll see Juventus take on the second half. And I wouldn't have thought he'd have been too depressed about the way things have gone. It looked a very dubious penalty. And I would imagine that he would have said to his lads, well, let's keep it going. They had a lot of possession near the end of the first half, got in a couple of shots. I'm sure he'll be looking for Juventus to be slightly more positive and have a real go at Sampdoria.
Lombardo back defending now. Ivani. Juventus felt they should have had a penalty at the other end when Baggio was fouled by Sacchetti. The referee was totally disinterested in their claims. And the they feel that's been happening on quite a few occasions in recent games, Juventus. Since they had a controversial decision given in their favour, I think in the Milan game. Torricelli, Ravanelli, in goes Bonini, a hard and uncompromising defender.
He's developed into a very good plan, Bonini. He reads the game very well, and that was a very timely interception off of Ravanelli.
Now Bertorelli is going to come on here for Sampdoria, a striker. And it's Mancini, the player replaced, looking a little ruefully. So maybe, well, I would think it must be an injury.
Yes, I think I heard David Platt saying he's been carrying an injury for a couple of weeks ago, Peter, and he hasn't really looked himself. He's looked a shadow of the person that we normally drool over, really. He really is a talented guy, and he really hasn't got involved in the game at all today, and it's no surprise that Bertorelli finds himself on the field.
Having to change his shirt. I think he had the wrong number on.
That's happening quite a bit just late, isn't it? The wrong number. He's not going to get too cold with he's got 2 vests on, I think.
Well, in England now, I don't think they can get the numbers on the shirt sometimes. There's so many numbers. Fortunato. Somewhere the other day that someone had made the 25 shirt his own. Quite nice.
Interesting point to note, Peter. I've bumped into lots of referees just lately who really are crying out.
I've noticed that on the field, yeah.
Are really crying out for their black kit back. They wanted me to give it a mention on the Channel 4 show, and they want their black kit back, the referees.
Because you've had a campaign about this colour of the kit, haven't you?
Yeah, I think it's dreadful.
There's Gullit's header. In goes Bertorelli. Just too long for Gullit. I've noticed you've been talking to referees quite a lot on the field lately, which is a habit that's been creeping into your game, I know.
No, it's actually nice to have a rapport with referees. It must be done.
Giovanni. Bertorelli, who's a willing runner up front. He's only had a couple of starts for Sampdoria this season. And he was actually part of the deal that took Vialli to Juventus, signed from Ancona merely for that fact. Never actually played for Juventus. They just signed him so they could include him in the package. It's Bertorelli now, on for Lombardo. Racing clear down the right side. Back off Carrera, and Bertorelli with a header. So he's quick to make his mark.
That was nice play, Peter. Yeah, he made the initial pass to Lombardo, didn't mess around on the halfway line, got himself in the box and ended up with a header at goal. That was good play from young Bertorelli.
Excellent work here by Bonini. Almost releasing Bertorelli, who's added some zest to Sampdoria's play since he's come on. Mancini certainly didn't look his old self, and had indeed been suffering from an injury which was clearly hampering him. Sacchetti tangling with Ravanelli, who is ruled the offender. Now, Malcolm McDonald didn't get a chance to hear from you at half-time, but how do you think the game's shaping up now, Malcolm?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Malcolm, how you think the game's shaping up? We didn't get a chance to hear from you at half-time. You going to sleep?
No, I'm not asleep. No, sorry, I didn't hear you. It's again started lively, similarly to the first half. What I've noticed that Juventus are seeking to do, because they're obviously very unhappy with the penalty, which I think was a diabolical decision by the referee. And what Juventus are trying to do is actually engineer situations identical to that, and put the referee under the test, under the pressure of having to deal with the same situation.
Fortunato threading it on. What about the Baggio incident, Malcolm? Did you think that one was a penalty then? I think he's gone now. Lost contact with Malcolm for the moment. We'll hear from him again a little later on. Moller, Conte. Here's Carrera. Ravanelli. So strong, so courageous. Here's Lombardo. His goal divides the two teams. Salcedo. Ivani. Björkevard with Gullit. Look at that control. He's a player to marvel at, Gullit. Still, they can't get the ball back off him. Now that looked as if his legs were whisked away there.
Wasn't that fantastic action, Pete? He was quite right in saying about the ball control. He stands about 6'3", 6'4", Gullit, but he really does have magnificent feet, and that was a penalty. He used his body strength to hold off the defender, and he's just kicked through him, and he's... The referee's given a corner kick, but it was a definite penalty.
Still, there's danger in that Juve penalty box. They haven't really cleared it yet. Sacchetti, off goes Gullit again. Notari.
That was a great opportunity for Sampdoria. It was a fantastic crossing from Kiko Ivani with his left foot, swinging it in and drilling it in low into the near post. And it only needed a touch. And it would have been in the back of the net, but it was good defending from Juventus.
Trapattoni wants to bring Marocchi on. Marocchi, who's been only on the fringe of the side this season. Giancarlo Marocchi, and he's actually been out with injury. And Carrera, remember, had only just come back after a lengthy layoff because of injury, is the player being replaced. So hoping to step up further their attacking options. Juventus bringing on Marocchi.
I think what we're seeing do now, Peter, go to a flat back four. Fortunato come out onto the left side of the field, and Marocchi will just slip into the middle of the field. Carrera's done okay. It's his first game for 5 months, and he can be quite pleased with himself.
Well, he was certainly finding Gullit a handful, but who wouldn't?
When he's in this form, Peter, he'd be a handful for anybody. He really has looked very, very enthusiastic. Really looking for the ball all the time and thoroughly enjoying himself.
Lombardo with the throw. Sampdoria certainly won't be feeling that one goal is sufficient. They'll want the cushion of another one. Bertorelli with the cross in.
It wasn't a bad ball from Bertorelli. It's amazing the amount of balls that go across that near post unchallenged by forward players. I'm sure if forward players made that dash across the front post, they would score no end of goals, and it wasn't a bad ball from Bertorelli.
He himself has had injury problems this season, but he hopes to put those behind him. Useful corner. Delivio away. Serena. Juventus defenders streaming out still. Serena. And down goes Peruzzi with the save.
Good shot and save. Serena doing very well there, drinking past a couple of defenders, and Peruzzi making a super save down by the post.
Björkevard. Marocchi. Careless passo. Lombardo towards Bertorelli. Borini, the man marking him. Salcedo. Notari just got his foot in there. Here's Fortunato. Jugovic to fetch. Now Delivio. Marocchi. Baggio. And Conte hitting it well wide.
He's a workhorse, Conte, isn't he? He gets up and down the field all day, and he really does complement the likes of Baggio and Andreas Moller. He's not the most gifted player in the world, but he really does do a first-class job for Juventus.
And clearly in the thoughts of Arrigo Sacchi, the Italian coach. He's been called up for the last couple of squads now, Conte, without making the team. This is Conte on the ball. Marocchi, the former Italian international. Gullit. Marocchi tackling back at him. Maybe a little harshly there, penalised. Ivani taking the kick, finding Lombardo. Gattarelli has shown for him, and the flag was up for offside. Conte, wide to D'Olivio. Marocchi. Here's Moller. Couldn't shake off Ivani. Gattarelli doing well. Ivani again. Tigerish tackling though by Marocchi, and the referee thought unfair tackling.
It's very competitive, isn't it? I know it's the second and third, and it should be competitive, but we don't often see this in Italian football. Both sides are really going at it, and it's turned into a good game.
Gullit, spread wide to Lombardo. There's no chance of Gattarelli being on the end of that one. News of another game. Foggia have scored again. They're now leading Lecce by 3-0. And the feeling is it's a hat-trick from Capolini. We'll get that confirmed. Foggia 3, Lecce 0. Lecce, of course, the bottom club in Serie A and in deep trouble. Well, though, to hold Parma to a draw last week. Salsano. And support from Gullit. As keen and as enthusiastic as ever, Ruud Gullit. Lombardo almost touching on into Gattarelli. Appeal for handball turned down.
That's what I was talking about in the first half, though, Peter. Gullit has actually come out of the box, taken the ball off Salsano, who's more than capable of hitting a good ball into the box. He's come out of the box and taken away, basically, the danger from Juventus. He'd have been far better off staying in the box and being on the end of a good Salsano cross.
Pagliuca's long clearance. Gullit's challenge, out by Perini. About an hour now. Sampdoria still leading by 1-0. Jugovic to Lombardo, who scored that single goal. Sacchetti. The two highest scorers, remember, in Serie A, these two. Sampdoria with 35, Juventus with 32. We heard still no goals in the San Siro. Milan at home to Piacenza. Baggio. Milan, just to reiterate, the start of play 3 points clear of these two. This is Baggio. Fortunato. Doing just now. I think he's booked Fortunato. quite sure why.
I wasn't quite sure actually, Peter. But
There's Fortunato now.
Yeah, Fortunato did have a rather rueful look on his face as he was walking back, so he could well have got a booking.
Yeah, something set out of place, I think.
Pagliuca did very well with that back pass just then, Peter, didn't he? That was a bit of a driller that they threw at him, and he dealt with it very nicely with one touch.
Lombardo there, who caught Fortunato. Malcolm MacDonald, if you're hearing me now, Malcolm, can you see the game changing course now at this stage in any way?
Yes, it has, and it's the young lad who's come on for Sampdoria, number 16, Bertarelli, who I think has swung the game into Sampdoria's favour, away from Juve. He's very, very lively. He's a little naive. He's gone running early at times and has gone into offside positions. But nevertheless, he's prepared to run and attack the defenders, and it's allowed Gullit now to take up different positions, and the whole game basically has changed, and Sampdoria are very much on a high.
Thanks, Malcolm. Conte away from Gullit, not though from Lombardo. Gullit again. Now Ivani. Serena had made the run outside him, but it was spotted by Di Livio. Bertarelli. Gullit making the run through. Here's Gullit. Off Fortunato and harmlessly through to Pagliuca. Promising attack comes to nothing. Ravanelli with Viercavon. Lombardo, no foul on Marocchi. Gullit. Bertarelli, what a marvellous pass that was there by Gullit. Good defending though by Notari. Di Livio, skillfully played. Now Conte, caught though by Salsano. Didn't really have the pace though to accelerate clear of Conte. Di Livio making sure the referee saw it. Can you dive like that way, or does it take practice?
I think it takes practice, a lot of practice. No, I personally can't, but I think we've all tried, but that takes a bit of practice, I think, Olivia.
Now Gallia is going to come on in place of Fortunato, who did have that injury a few minutes ago. Gallia, who started the game against Roma last week, but left out for this one, and certainly hasn't been as impressive as he was a couple of seasons back, when really he was Juventus' best player. Di Livio to Gallia. Ravanelli, Di Livio. Now Conte. This is promising for Juventus towards Ravanelli. Whacked clear there by Salsano. Marocchi.
I think we'll see Marocchi go into the left-back slot now and Gallia go into the centre of the field. Just a pretty basic swap for Juventus.
Di Livio. Gullit. Sacchetti. There's Zugovic alongside him. And Lombardo had pulled wide. Ivani. Salsano taking over. Di Livio felt he'd been impeded. The referee didn't know. Serena. Chance to cross it in. And Bertarelli way off target.
It's a good run he's made there, Peter. But he got across that front post as we were talking about before, and he's actually got a header across the front of the defender, and he's done well there. I think the problem with Juventus at the moment is they're playing everything in front of Sampdoria. They haven't once turned them round and got around the back of them. And it consequently becomes quite easy to defend against when everything is played in front of you.
Certainly haven't seen so much of Roberto Baggio in the second half.
Now, Viercavon's done a fantastic job on him. He's really kept him very quiet.
Manini. Gullit. Torricelli was just too strong for him. But only just. Torricelli now. Quickly closed down though by Bertorelli, who has certainly made an impact since coming on. Jugovic trying to turn it back into the path of Gullit, and he was just about crowded out by Notari.
Good football from Bertorelli, chasing back and working hard on the ball, putting Torricelli under enormous amount of pressure. Lovely little ball through, and Ruud Gullit had made a good run into the near post. It was unfortunate the ball didn't come across.
Ivani will take the corner. Bjerkegaard has come up from the back. Gullit's in there, of course, and Bertorelli. Didn't reach Gullit, thanks to the efforts of Notari. Jugovic intelligently back into the path of Sacchetti. Gullit lurking again. Still Gullit. Bjerkegaard. What a good save by Peruzzi.
Yeah, it was a super save coming through a lot of people. Bjerkegaard keeping it low, keeping it on target, the main thing. And Peruzzi made a very good save. But the first touch of Ruud Gullit was something to behold. A great touch in the box.
Notari to Marocchi. Di Livio. Now Gallia. Confronted though by Serie. And the flag's up for offside. Played really well at the back. Bjerkegaard and Manini. And Sacchetti too for Sampdoria. Here's Bertorelli. Di Livio. Torricelli. Baggio.
I was wondering when he was going to come deeper.
Yeah.
He's not had a lot of joy up front against playing up against Bjerkegaard, and he's just dropped off now and started to come a little bit deeper to start creating. And let's hope he gets involved in the game a lot more, because he hasn't been in the second half.
Di Livio. He's over on the left now. Away from Lombardo, away from Ivani, still Di Livio. My word, he's a tireless worker. Conte. Baggio. Look how closely there Bjerkegaard was sticking with him. And if Ravanelli hadn't have slipped, he could have been set up there.
Fantastic body strength from Baggio, holding off from Bjerkegaard. It was a great pass inside the fullback, and you quite rightly said Ravanelli slipped at the last moment, but that was going to be a hell of a pass.
He felt there was a bit of shirt tugging going on.
I think he's quite right, but I think that's what he's got to expect off of an old warhorse like Bjerkegaard, and it really was a classic pass inside the fullback, and Ravanelli just slipping over there.
Gullit's header. Bertorelli. Sampdoria free kick, which Sassano is preparing to take. 20 minutes to go. Sampdoria with this slender one-goal lead earned by Lombardo's penalty. Here's Ivani. Won by Marocchi. Ravanelli. Marocchi again. Di Livio. Just took a little nick then from Lombardo. Gallia to Torricelli. Morini. Torricelli again. Now Marocchi. Good anticipation shown by Sacchetti. Gullit to Sassano. Bjerkegaard is making his way forward again. But out wide here, Serie. Jugovic with the cross in. Marocchi. Not for Baggio to pursue, but he had no chance of reaching there. Getting a fair old barricade from the Sampdoria fans. I'm not sure he's come to expect that wherever he plays, but no one can fail to admire his undoubted skill.
He's a tremendous player, Peter, and it's nice to see the way these world-class players work so hard off the ball to get the space that they need to play. There we see Baggio making a run into the corner. He has to make those sort of runs to get away from such tight marking.
Pagliuca went flying into Parini then. Free kick to Juventus. As you were saying earlier on, Ray, it is a very competitive game, as well as offering a high level of skill. That's
the way we want to see the game played, isn't it? We have seen a number of fantastic individual performances, but it really has been played in a very competitive spirit.
Baggio's kick. Ilivio, no, Lombardo in first. Marocchi didn't fall for Conte thanks to the efforts of Manini.
What a super game.
Now the break could be on for Sampdoria. Gullit. Still Gullit. Now has he been dispossessed? Yes, by Parini. Aided by Conte there. Ravanelli. Held that up well. Marocchi. Ilivio. In went Jugovic. Bertorelli. Gullit through the middle. Oh, great save by Peruzzi.
That's absolutely fantastic football. Jugovic started it off. Brilliant run forward on the right-hand side. Ball into Bertorelli. And it was a lovely little pass and a great run. Great little diagonal run. There it is from Gullit. And a very good save from Peruzzi. But super football.
Ilivio. Baggio. Manini in the way again. Marocchi. Here's Ravanelli. Pagliuca out this time. And rather hopelessly over the bar from Gallia. The news just coming in, Milan have scored at last against Piacenza. And it's Massaro who has given the league leaders the lead. Gallia with a chance here, but way over the crossbar. And Napoli have equalised against Torino, a penalty from their Uruguayan international Fonseca. That's his 12th. What is looking for him, an excellent season. Parini for Juventus. Still trailing by a goal to nil. Torricelli. Certainly can't write Juventus off at this stage. Not with the likes of Baggio around. And he has been relatively subdued in the second half. Conte now. Didn't really get hold of that one though. Pagliuca quite happy to see it sail wide. Referee wants to change the ball. Malcolm McDonald, can you see Juventus getting back into this one now?
I don't think that they are going to, no. Sampdoria, I think, have got them well and truly bottled up. Ray was making the point about Baggio dropping deep. And the guy does have a bit of a temperamental problem. That when things aren't going for him, he tries going deep. If that doesn't work for him, he finishes up, just losing his temper and generally being a nasty, petulant little boy. And this is happening at the moment, and he's moaning and complaining to the referee on everything, and he's stopped playing. And so Juventus now really are technically down to 10 men.
Conte, here's Baggio. We'll be hoping to prove Malcolm wrong. Torricelli. Baggio. Well, he's certainly involved at the moment. Still Baggio trying to wriggle free of those three defenders. Jugovic eventually with a clearance. Tied it up by Notari for Juventus. Torricelli.
They defended very well against Baggio there, Peter. They bottled him up with 3 players. What he was attempting to do, and he did it very well, was keep the ball in the penalty box. He didn't want the ball out of the box.
Muller's in the box now, challenged by Bjerkevod. Surely nothing wrong with that.
That's a great tackle from Bjerkevod. He's been quite outstanding defensively. He really has had a blinding match there. He picks up the run of Moller. It's a very good through ball. But Bjerkevod's after him like a shot, and that was a super tackle.
Yeah, his timing was immaculate there, Bjerkevod, because one slip and that would have been a penalty.
Yeah, I think he and Manini have been quite outstanding for Sampdoria.
Well, Trapattoni absolutely incensed, presumably at the lack of a penalty award, but if that is what he's complaining about, he really doesn't have a case.
I just think that's a culmination of events, Peter, really. I think they felt a bit aggrieved in the first half that they didn't pick up one, and Trapattoni's just done his nut there for an incident which I think realistically was never a penalty.
He can't see from there anyway. Baggio onto Gallia, and that's off Manini for the corner.
What a pass from Baggio. It's nice to see him get in the game, and just those little touches that he makes. It was a good run from Gallia, but a beautiful little volley back heel.
Here's the corner, headed on by Notari. Ravanelli, well, he just kept it in, but then back off Sacchetti, and it's a Juventus throw. The pressure stays on Sampdoria. Marocchi, Ivani, Bertorelli. Well, his determination here may well get its reward. That was a good tackle by Torricelli. Marocchi wasn't happier about the earlier one from Bertorelli. Moller now. Skipping past the tackle of Jugovic. Baggio. Bjerkevod inevitably has gone with him. Gallia. Ravanelli. Now Marocchi. Oh, it was a rash and reckless tackle then by Manini. Went flying into Marocchi. And the free kick is in Baggio territory.
Lovely little dummy from Marocchi there as he went past Manini, but dangerous situation. We saw Roberto Baggio hit the upright in the first half from a very similar position. I wonder if he'll go for the other post this time. He scored a fantastic goal against Cremonese a couple of weeks ago, where he lined up to hit it into the empty space, but went onto the goalkeeper's side and swung it into the far corner. And it basically is set up for that sort of free kick now.
Gullit guarding the post. Pagliuca hoping the wall will do its job, but with Baggio, well, it's so hard to defend against a player of such guile, such invention. It's got Ravanelli there too. 10 minutes left. Juventus not happy that the wall is far enough away. Yellow card for Salsano for not retreating far enough.
I think the wall looks a long way away, Peter. I think referees do make defensive walls, especially in Italy. They really do make them get back the 9 metres that they require.
Well, there's some anxious faces in there, although Gullit looks fairly nonplussed about it all. Now, what will Baggio be able to conjure up here? Maybe Ravanelli! And this man knows how to celebrate a goal. And that one is worth celebrating. A vital strike for Juventus.
I think you can see by the celebrations from everybody the importance of that goal. And I think, you know, in the second half, Sampdoria really had the game for themselves, and Juventus are right back in it now. It's a wonderful strike from Ravanelli. I don't know whether it went round the wall or through it, but it's a wonderful strike. Great left foot this guy's got. I think it goes through the wall, but that was quite unstoppable. Everybody waiting for Baggio to take it, and there he comes. The old grey fox there, bashing it into the net. That was a super strike.
Baggio shaping up for a curler, but instead a rasping drive by Ravanelli. The man who is so proud to put on the Juventus shirt. He feels he's now very much a Juventus player. having been in the shadows really when Vialli was first choice. Vialli is still out through injury, of course. That's his 4th goal for the band they call Pagliuca, the White Feather.
He's absolutely shattered now. Look at him, hands on his knees. Too much celebrating, I think, for old Ravanelli. That was the longest run he'd made in the game there.
He's been cautioned in the past for over-celebrating.
He enjoys his football. He's great to watch. He's a character.
Tell you what, he'll be celebrating that goal tonight, that's for sure. Milan have scored again. Jean-Pierre Papin with the 2nd goal. The leaders at home to Piacenza. They lead by 2 goals to 0. It's 1-1 in the Luigi Ferrari Stadium. This is Marocchi for Juventus. Everybody's their way back.
Everybody seems to be helping him out again, Peter, doesn't it? We've got Sampdoria and Juventus at 1 apiece now. Milan have gone 2 in front. So if it stays this way, that's another point in front they go.
Gullit now. Torricelli has been penalised. He's not too happy.
Teased him into it, Peter, did Gullit. Just teased him in, and Torricelli took the bait, and he was round him like a ballet dancer with them feet. Absolutely superb.
All the experience revealed then by Gullit to win the free kick. Certainly always had the feeling that 1 goal might not be enough, and so it's proved, certainly at this stage of the game. Gullit. Gallia in ahead of Lombardo. Sacchetti to pump it back again. Gullit's challenge, able to resist one from Torricelli. Gullit still teasing defenders, and off Gallia for the corner.
Well defended from Gallia. There was a lot of support from his fellow defenders, but he kept his eye on the ball, never took his eye off the ball, never went to ground, just stood up and made Gullit get it round him, and he couldn't do it the great man. And we see it again, a lovely little bit of skill from Gullit, but Gallia was equal to it, making a good interception.
Torelli and Gullit waiting on the cross. Will provide the right service. Notari, Vierkabod! Off the post and off the line by Marocchi. Gullit. Lombardo this time. And somehow Juventus survive. Now the counter-attack. Moller. Sampdoria having to chase back. And it's Ivani. What a let-off then for Juventus at the other end.
Turned into a classic, Peter, and it was a great strike from Vierkabod on the volley. I don't know whether Peruzzi got his hand to it, but it really struck the post very, very hard indeed, and how they managed to keep it out, I don't know. But it's turning into a really cracking finale to what has been a very interesting game, to say the least.
5 minutes left of this absorbing struggle. Ravanelli, whose goal has pumped fresh life into Juve's legs. Ravanelli again. Conte. Baggio hunting. Here's Lombardo. Notari. Goes Jugovic. Definitely played and laid off that to Lombardo. Salsano runs straight into Torricelli, who's had another impressive game at the back. Tackle from Lombardo wasn't too impressive though on Delivio.
Looked a tired tackle, didn't it? He looked absolutely shattered. There's no way Delivio was going past him. He just didn't want to know. That was a very tired challenge from Lombardo. He's worked tirelessly.
Marocchi with Delivio. Salsano. Nobody upfield for Sampdoria. This is Notari. Morini. Nobody wants to make make a mistake now at this late stage of the game. Torricelli. On by Moller. Björkavon's clearance. Tower of strength at the back, Björkavon, for Sampdoria. But nothing that he or his fellow defenders could do about that thunderous drive for goal from the free kick by Ravanelli. He doesn't feel himself that he scores enough goals, Ravanelli, but my word, he'll treasure that one. Deceiving Gullit. Not very comfortable actually since coming on. There's Marocchi. Now Torricelli. Moller. Look how quickly he was hounded there. And the free kick has been awarded.
Bit of an unnecessary free kick as well. Yeah. Moller was actually going away from goal, and I think it's Serie, who does have a couple of rush of blood to the head. There he goes, in he comes. No, it was Jugovic actually got him. Sorry, Serie, I do apologise.
I think he had a go, though.
He did. I think he was lining himself up to have a go, but it was a bit of an unnecessary challenge. He was going nowhere. But now this is a very dangerous situation. This is well within the range of Baggio and Ravanelli.
Yes, the warning signs are up again. Pagliuca rightly looks a worried man. Very worried man. Well, neither Ravanelli nor Baggio are involved here. It's Moller. Now Ravanelli. Baggio. Lombardo's header out. Conte! Well, it would have been a spectacular goal. Conte, who's struck 3 times in this campaign. He's not renowned as a goal scorer. But already that's more than he got in the last season. Again, he's been one of Juventus' best performers today. But here's Gullit now, rampaging again. Good tackle. Notari. Well, his reputation certainly hasn't been weakened by his showing today. To the game. And certainly we've seen today, Ray, a lot to admire.
Yes, we have. We've seen some excellent ability, which we know that these guys have, but on the other hand, we've seen the way they compete, and there we see Baggio going in on Ivani, and that's why Ivani's on the floor. A bit of a late challenge, really. It's a forwards challenge from Baggio. No disrespect to forwards out there watching. But we have seen some super stuff, and we've seen a commitment from both sides that is a delight to see. We don't often see it week in, week out in Italian football, but I can honestly say today we have seen 2 sides very, very committed to winning a game of football, and it's been nice to see.
Ivani with the free kick. Maybe still a sting at the tail. Lombardo. Look at Ravanelli there chasing back at him. Helped out by Delivio and Marocchi as we move into injury time. Ravanelli a little tentatively at first, but then hoisting it up where Mannini has collected it for Sampdoria. Gullit. Lombardo! Some swift way then by Sampdoria that very nearly unhinged Juventus.
Gullit's really had a fantastic match, Peter, hasn't he? The chest control was superb, and the pass through was a lovely pass for Lombardo. He just really couldn't get a full boot on it, really. He just toe poked it in the finish.
Marocchi, both teams still going for the victory. Moller. Marocchi's gone into the middle. Here's Marocchi now. Baggio! Well, half-heartedly, I think they're appealing for a penalty, but Baggio was almost in the clear then. Ivani for Sampdoria. Salsano, laid off by Gullit to Ivani. Lombardo. Well closed down though by Delivio. That's Moller injured. The last few seconds surely of the game now. some injury time. Almost 2 minutes of time added on has now been played. And clearly Moller is going to need some attention before he can continue. Hasn't been at its most devastating today, Moller. As we were saying earlier on, he's been carrying an injury. Not sure if this is the same one, but he feels it's hampered his sprinting technique.
You wouldn't have thought so, Peter, would you? The way he's been galloping up and down that right flank. My word, he does have a bit of pace.
Dante's header finds only Salcedo. Gullit. Now Jugovic with the cross, and Peruzzi claiming it right underneath his own crossbar as Bertorelli came herring in. Another injury. 3 minutes now of stoppage time is being played. I think that's Notari down. Jugovic with the cross. And then he had a fairly easy catch for Peruzzi. I think it is young Notari who is injured, and he does look a good prospect, Notari, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He certainly does. And he really has had quite a fair game this afternoon. But it's nice to see Peruzzi catching that under the crossbar. That relieves a lot of pressure from the Juventus side, and I'm sure they'll be absolutely delighted to see him come in and taking those sort of balls.
Delivio. Lombardo. Again, it's too easy for Peruzzi. It finishes 1-1. An excellent game. Two teams showing so much commitment, and Juventus coming back in the second half with Ravanelli's storming equaliser after Lombardo had given Sampdoria the lead with a penalty, a controversial one, on 28 minutes. Ray Wilkins.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it, Peter. I thought it was a good game. I think what actually helps is it's been played in a football stadium, and it's very close to the stage. Stands are very close to the pitch. It makes for a tremendous atmosphere, and the game is a lot quicker, more competitive. I thoroughly enjoyed it. We had a fantastic mixture of great technical ability, coupled with a commitment from both sides, which was a credit to both teams, and I thoroughly enjoyed the match.
Well, let's look back over some of the highlights, and there were one or two penalty claims in the game. This was one for Ruud Gullit.
Yeah, it's a lovely little pass. As it's cut back into him, I think Gullit just flicks it round, and he's definitely, as far as I was concerned, you disagreed, Peter, but I thought he was bulked off the ball there in the penalty area, and I think that's why the referee gave the other one. Here it is now, as the ball comes in from Ruud Gullit. The referee now turns and gets a perfect view of the incident, and it's just two players actually falling into each other, and how he could give a penalty from that situation, I don't know.
Well, maybe he saw something we didn't there, but it did look very harsh. Anyway, here's Lombardo, and Peruzzi really diving over it.
I think he'll be very disappointed, Peruzzi, actually, having watched it time and time again. He actually gets there, but he's over the top of the ball, and it slips underneath his body. Oh, this was magnificent, wasn't it? This was the free kick from Roberto Baggio. Not only does he put it where he wants to put it, but the power in which he hits it. Absolutely unstoppable if that's on target, and they really could count themselves very fortunate there, Sampdoria. Delivio giving him a little tap on the back for encouragement. Look at the power that he puts into that. Really a top-class performer.
Well, he certainly underlined his prodigious talent, certainly in the first half anyway, Baggio. Now, here he is again.
Very hesitant, Peter, wasn't he, here? He should have been onto that like a flash, but Baggio was instead. And Sacchetti, in actual fact, does have a bit of a whoosh-up at Baggio in the final yards. And I think they can count themselves a little bit unfortunate that he didn't get a penalty there, Juventus. but the way things were going, it didn't look as if they would get a penalty in. The referee did appear to give lots of decisions to Sampdoria. Here we see this fantastic run from Bertarelli. Good run from Gullit on the right-hand side. But what's this little diagonal from Gullit? There it is. It's only a straight ball, but it's the run that makes the pass. And Gullit getting in a good shot, which Peruzzi saves. And I thought Peruzzi had a very good game indeed. I thought he kept Juventus in the match at times with some superb handling. And here we see the most fantastic free kick from Ravanelli. I think it goes through the wall, and they won't be too happy with that, but it gives Pagliuca no chance whatsoever.
All eyes there have been on Baggio, and Ravanelli with that ferocious strike.
It really was a good strike, Peter, wasn't it? Launching it into the back of the net. Really superb goal. I think they even called Pagliuca off guard as well. It did look as if Baggio was going to take it. And Pagliuca seemed to be setting himself for a bendy, but it didn't come, and it was just a driven ball.
This is a shot from Bjerkegaard.
It's a great shot as well. Steadies himself nicely. Cannons off the upright and hits Peruzzi on the back of the neck, and he's cleared off the line, I think, by Morocco in the finish. Very unfortunate for Sampdoria.
Well, both sides were certainly going for the victory right to the finish, but 1-1 it finished, and we'll hand you back now to James Richardson. James?
Well, 1-1, I think a result that Sampdoria will view as a bit of a missed opportunity, but you'd say quite a fair result there, wouldn't you, Malcolm?
Yeah, I think a fair result. Juventus deserved something out of this for their first half performance. Although I thought that in the second half Sampdoria had much the better of it, and both goals have gone against the run of play. But the way that Juve were going in that last 20-25 minutes, their heads were going down. Baggio's, Moller went on the missing list, and it needed something special, something very special, just to get them back into the game. And of course, well, nothing more special than Ravanelli's left foot when he really wants to do it.
Well, Ravanelli's a figure that really divides the Football Italia team. You're one of the people pro Ravanelli. Why?
I'm pro Ravanelli because he never gives up. He's got a heart as big as a lion, and he is always trying. He will make mistake after mistake, but always he will try to do something, and you can tell that he loves Juve. He loves football, but he loves football with Juve, and for me, the guy is he's one of those great guys that I would always want next to me in a fight.
Well, Sampdoria obviously didn't manage to convert any of the chances they had in that run of possibilities in the second half. Any reason you think why?
I think because they were a little bit lightweight. For some reason, with the result of 1-0, they put 8 men back in defence.
I've got to stop you there, sorry.
Okay.
We'll hand back now to Peter Brackley with the results and the table from Serie.
And just checking through those, Inter have won by 4-1 away to Cremonese. Foggia, a big win for them at home to Lecce by 5-0. Milan have beaten Piacenza 2-0. Massaro and Papin the scorers there. Parma 2, Lazio 0 in the other big game of the day. And Zola missed a penalty as well for Parma. Di Chiara and Aspria with the goals. Reggiana 3, Atalanta 0. Roma 0, Udinese 2. Pizzi and Branco with the goals there. A shot went away for Udinese. And Torino 1, Napoli 1, Carbone for Torino, and Fonseca with a penalty for Napoli. At the top of the table, Milan then increasing their lead now to 4 points over Juventus and Sampdoria. Parma in 4th place on 25, and Inter on 24 after their big win today. Top scorers, Salenzi of Torino on 13, Fonseca has 12, Baggio and Gullit on 11, Branca and Sosa on 10. That's it for now. Don't forget Mezzanotte on Tuesday night, Cagliari against Genoa. And on Saturday, Gazzetta Football Italia at 11 o'clock. We're back at the same time next week for our live game. Till then, from Ray Wilkins and myself, a very good afternoon.
For lots more Italian football information, including how to get a free wall chart, please turn to Fortel, page 365. Managing the...
Italiano.
Hello and welcome.